Hey guys, welcome to my Hangry Kitchen, and today we are making some cheesy cauliflower grits. And I know that cauliflower and grits sounds really gross, but they're really good actually, and they're thick and they're creamy just like grits, though they're made from vegetables. Well, I guess grits are vegetables too, but grits have tons more carbs than cauliflower. Cauliflower has more water, has more fiber, way fewer carbs, and it still tastes pretty good and is reminiscent of something that you've actually had before. So to start out, I'm going to grab some bacon. Let me turn this on and we'll start to fry our bacon in the pan. That's gonna be the base and our oil, so we don't have to use any like additional butter or anything like that, which is typical of grits. You stir in a little bit of butter, but we're not gonna use butter. We're gonna use the oil from the bacon that we cook. Let me go grab that and then we'll start that part. All right, got my bacon, so I'm just gonna heat my pan up. See, make sure we've got it heating there. Let's turn on a little light, makes it brighter to be able to see. And I'll grab some tongs from over here. Now, I really like this recipe because it is very reminiscent of something that you're used to. We're gonna wait for this to heat up. The grits are super delicious. They're really creamy, and I'll talk a little bit about how I get them to like that creamy consistency, but they're also nice and thick. So it's a really, really good, like just in general, a really good kind of like hearty recipe. For ingredients, I have bacon. You'll need 4 slices. I have cauliflower here, which is just 1 head of cauliflower. We'll talk about how we get it like pureed and how we get that working. I have 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed mixed in with 3 tablespoons of water. That's gonna help us get our thickness, and it's some additional fiber. I have some Louisiana hot sauce. I didn't measure it because I just love hot sauce, so I just pour in whatever. And then I have granulated garlic, salt, and cayenne in a little dish over here. That's about 1 teaspoon of each, as well as some cheddar cheese that we'll stir in at the end, milk, and pepper. I just moved my lid back here actually, since we don't want to dirty up an extra dish and we're not using the lid. I flipped my lid of my Le Creuset onto its top, like onto the knob, and laid a paper towel in, so when the bacon is ready to drain, I can put it in that, and that's what's gonna help drain it on the paper towel. Our pan seems hot enough, so we're gonna get our bacon out here. And I'm just gonna lay in 4 strips of bacon, and we're gonna let those cook until they're crisp. All right, looks like it's time to flip these. So let's double check on them. They're looking pretty good. They look like they've shrunk a little. And we'll go ahead and give them a flip. Looks like this one actually was 2. We got a bonus bacon. So that means the other side didn't cook very well. So let's get this one laying flat. We always turn these away from us when we are cooking so that we don't splatter oil all over ourselves because it's painful. Just a few more minutes to crisp up and get them drained on our paper towel. We gave our bacon a couple turns and they look like they are ready to go. So I'll pull them out, and we're just gonna place each piece onto a paper towel. And we'll turn our stove down just a touch. So these look very good, ready to go. We'll set them aside so that they drain. And then we're gonna turn our heat way, way down because this was very, very hot. So it's still kind of like steaming and jumping and like freaking out, but we're in a good place with it. So we'll start with our cauliflower for our cauliflower grits. And the way that I get this into grits consistency, because you know cauliflower, like if you rice it, it's kind of dry. Cauliflower does contain a ton of water, so this is gonna splash up just a little bit. That's why we wanna wait for this to cool down just a bit, because it is gonna get really kind of crazy. But what I do is I take a whole head of cauliflower, I cut it in half, and I put the first half in a blender and blend it, like whip it until it's kind of like a smooth consistency. So the water will release from the cauliflower. You're gonna blend it until it is smooth. Then you'll take the second half that you cut into like little florets and little pieces, and you'll go ahead and you'll just like, kind of like, what's the word? Like you'll pulse it in there. So you don't want to get them to a watery consistency like the first half of the batch. You want to have them be kind of rice-like, and that's going to give you that grits-like texture. So you'll get the smooth from the first half of it, but then you'll get that like gritty texture from the second half. And so it becomes really, really creamy, which is awesome and totally delicious. So I have all of that cauliflower here, and then we're just going to get it right out of our blender and into the pan. And the pan is still a little smoky, but that's okay because we're gonna like mix this up. We just want to be sure that we are careful dumping it in so there's not a ton of splashback from the oil that's in the pan. And start to stir. And you'll see kind of all of that like fond, those brown bits in the bottom. We want that. We want to see all of that. And we don't want it to stick to the bottom. So we want to do our best to keep stirring. I'll actually turn the heat off because it's so hot right now. We don't want to burn it. The cauliflower is super delicate. And we'll do that while we get this out of here. Like I said, we don't want to burn it. That's not the goal or the objective here. We're going to take our milk, and we're pouring in about a half a cup of milk into our grits, to our cauliflower grits. And as you can see, like that just made it like the cream, and then those brown bits at the bottom are starting to come up. So we're getting like all that flavor from the bacon that was in the pan, and they're starting to look very creamy. So I'm gonna turn this back on to very low heat, like an almost nothing. We want it to be super low. And we're gonna give this a couple turns. And we may add some more milk. Like I'm liking this consistency, but I think I want it to be a little runnier. So I'm gonna add another half cup. We let it do its thing. So we'll give it another stir here. It's looking really, really good. So we'll add our spices. We'll add our flax egg, which is gonna give it some extra fiber and a little more creaminess. And you really can't, like when you put it in, you really can't see. And what I like to do with this is I go ahead and add my liquids just a cup at a time as I need it. So we've added about a cup and a half of liquid. I think I'm gonna add one more half cup, which is gonna bring us to 2 total cups of our liquid here. So just one more, and I think it's gonna be perfect consistency. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Because what we want is not runny, we want like smooth and creamy, and this doesn't take that long to do. So once you get it in the pot and you kind of get like everything mixed up, you're gonna get that smoothness, that creaminess, and it's gonna happen really fast because cauliflower doesn't take that long to cook. It doesn't take nearly as long as grits do. So this is looking really good, very creamy, and really thick, which is what we want. So then we'll add our Louisiana hot sauce in there. I love hot sauce. The vinegary, I love Louisiana hot sauce specifically because of that like vinegary taste. The vinegar, the peppers, the heat, it works so nicely. So we'll get it all stirred in. I'm liking the texture here, and I might just add a 1/4 cup more liquid, and that's it. So we'll go for a 1/4 cup of liquid. I eyeball. It's about my 1/4 cup there. So about 2 1/4 cup of our liquid. And this looks really good. I think I also have some green onion, so I'll probably add those too. And then I have 1 cup of shredded sharp cheddar, and that just all goes in there, and we will let that melt together. I like using sharp cheddar because there's a lot of flavor there. It has a nice bite, and it just tastes really, really good. So we'll let that stir up, let it do its thing. It smells really good. And what I want in here is to keep stirring until the cheese melts. So until we see no more cheese and we see that it's all melted in there. And what I mean by no more cheese is like no more cheese shreds. So you'll see the cheese in there, but we want to make sure that the shreds have kind of like dissolved so they're like really nice and melty. And I have puppies here making an appearance. You can probably hear them stomping around also. They are always around when I cook and love being in my business, especially when there's food. All right, so this is looking good. I think it just needs a little bit, just be stirred a little bit more till we get it where we want it to be. And then we'll be ready to slap it in a bowl, top it with some green onion and some bacon. Be really good. So it looks really nice and smooth, but we still have that like gritty texture. And that's why I blend half of it into kind of like a cauliflower puree, and then the other half I leave more chunks and like a little chunkier, because we still want that texture. Like that's what's great about grits, is that it has texture. So we want that same texture, and you can't really do that if you puree the whole thing. Then it's just a soup, then it's just cauliflower soup. So if you want to make it into a grits-like consistency, blending half into a liquid and then kind of pulsing or pureeing the other half is the way to go. And this looks awesome. So it can sit here for a minute. Oh man, I'm so excited about this. This looks really good. So let it sit, and then let me, can't walk away yet. Let it sit, let me see if I have green onions in the fridge, and then we'll grab those and we'll kind of like top everything and make it look really delicious. All right, and I'm on selfie cam. So I have my cheesy grits here, and let's just get them onto this plate so you can actually see them. So I'm going to top with some cheese. It's just like an extra bit of cheddar right on the center. I'm gonna go for some green onion, sprinkle on top, and then some bacon. And that looks pretty fantastic. Oh, it looks so good. And that is my cheesy, savory cauliflower grits recipe. It's really easy to make. You guys saw just a few ingredients. So I'm gonna have to go enjoy this and make sure Brian gets some, because it looks really, really good. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked this video and you want to see more recipe videos, please be sure to subscribe and like this video. I love making recipes for you all and showing you ways to transform some of your favorite dishes into other dishes that are equally as good and good for you and that you'll love. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye.